In today's program, Moscow's running this year's main marathon race through the Russian capital.
It's not just a race, it's a celebration.
How to play golf in Moscow.
When thinking about golf, everybody imagines people cruising along in a cart, smoking cigars, and doing nothing.
How did Sporting Moscow smash the stereotypes of international fans?
The expectation, gloomy, sad, grumpy people looking like bears. The reality, sunny, modern, happy Muscovites.
Hi, I'm Mike Gibson. It's the program Capital Ideas Life. Today we're going to talk all about the sports life of Moscow and just where all these people are running to. Let's get started.
Three, 2, 1. The absolute Moscow Marathon is off and running.
The most breathtaking and solemn moment, the Moscow Marathon 2019, started in Moscow. Professional athletes and amateurs of running gathered together at Luzhniki Stadium to participate in the most massive run in all of Russia. The Moscow Marathon takes place every year. Its route goes through the central part of the city, along the Moscow river embankments, the garden and boulevard rings, via the Krimsky Bridge, along Tverskaya Street and Teatralna Lane, and even near the Kremlin walls. The temperature of only 6 degrees with rain, wind and even a storm warning did not manage to scare off the athletes. More than 30,000 people from 85 countries applied to take part. This is a record number in the marathon's history. Ahead of the participants are two distances, the classic 42 kilometers and 192 meters and the shorter race of 10 kilometers. While the runners are covering this distance, we're moving over to another part of the city, to the west of Moscow. Some of you may have noticed that I'm not wearing a tie today. That's because of the event we're attending. We're at a golf tournament. Many people think that playing golf is boring and expensive and a type of sport that isn't for everybody. So let's take a closer look. What exactly is golf the Russian way? The Mayor's Cup Golf Tournament is another sports event which both professionals and amateurs look forward to every year. The first competition under the Moscow Mayor's patronage took place in 2005.
The format of the tournament is very interesting. There are serious golfers who compete for trophies, as well as average players who also have the opportunity to play in their handicap group for cups and awards. In golf, there's one goal: to hit the ball into the hole in the minimum number of strokes. Very easy. The format is very democratic. It's called Stableford. It's when you don't want to play the hole for different reasons, and instead of getting a dash, you give scores to yourself, and then move on.
You haven't misheard me. The players give themselves points. Golf's main principle is honesty. And the mission of the judges in this game is to explain the rules and prompt the players to find a way out of this or that situation on the course.
We're not public prosecutors or executioners. We are friends and advisors of golfers. That is, there are many situations on the course when the players are not quite sure whether or not they're doing the right thing. They don't know which further variants of the game are even possible. In this case, they call over the judge and we tell them what to do next. Our main task is to explain the details of the rules to them. And the rules were written by English golfers who are lawyers. These rules are quite unclear both in English and even in the Russian translation. And it's only the judges who know the details. You need a lot of time to learn the details and gain a solid understanding of this subject.
The birthplace of golf is believed to be Scotland. According to legend, back in the 14th century, Scottish shepherds invented a prototype of this game. They used their sticks to roll stones into rabbit holes. Today, around 80 million people around the world are playing golf. It's on the list of the world's top 10 most popular sports. The traditional venue for the Mayor's Cup Golf Tournament is the Moscow Golf Club. It's the place where golf history in Russia began in 1987.
Like all other clubs, we are dispelling the myth that golf is an unaffordable sport. because it certainly is affordable. First and foremost, it's a kind of sport. Getting to our place is very easy. We have a great school, excellent trainers, a very good children's school. The only drawback of our club is that we only have 9 holes, and we can't hold full-fledged tournaments or international championships sponsored by the top car brands. So we hold a full-fledged tournament in the form of 2 nines on our field.
This year, 61 golfers took part in the Mayor's Cup golf tournament. It took place over 2 days. Vera, our participant during the first day of the tournament, came from America. She began golf 10 years ago. There are good reasons why Vera has chosen our place, the Moscow City Golf Club. Once, she used to live in a house on the opposite street, and every morning she would watch the golfers from her balcony.
I trained here from the age of 7 to 13. And when I was 13, I moved to America because it's warm there and you can play golf all the time. I had a wonderful coach here, Alexei Matrosov, who taught me my swing, which is very important. He also taught me the short game, which is key. In America, I started to improve my game, but it's here where I gained my basic skills. Today's round went well. There were 2 holes which unfortunately I couldn't hit the way I wanted. But overall, I'm happy with today's result. I think that competition is in a way like a brief little life. You can always learn from your mistakes, build your character, and get enormous pleasure.
Her handicap, i.e. Vera's level, is 0. And the lower the handicap, the more professional a player is. Vera's dream is to play for the Russian team at the Olympic Games. Since 2016, golf has been part of the Summer Olympic Games.
When thinking about golf, everybody imagines people cruising along in a cart, smoking cigars, doing nothing. In fact, golf is a sophisticated game. And when my friends try to play golf, they're very surprised to see just how difficult it is. That's why many of my friends have started playing golf. They really enjoy it.
Together with Vera, we went to the driving range training course to see whether learning how to play this game is really such a challenge.
Now, we're going to learn how to make our first golf ball stroke in our life. To make your first stroke, you need to put your feet in the middle and to place the ball in front of and between your feet. We place our right hand at the bottom of the grip and the left hand near the top. To make the strike, you need to slightly bend your knees and lean your body forward a bit. The swing is quite simple. Hold your hands straight during the swing, then slightly bend them during the course of the movement. And then we make a mirror movement forward and strike the ball.
Okay.
Now it's your turn. Arms straight, bend your elbows. Excellent, good hit.
A half-hour masterclass is certainly not enough. Professionals assert that you need to visit the driving range several times to understand whether you are ready to head over to the course.
Golf is the best type of sport, a kind of relaxation, which is good for health. The main reason is because everything takes place out in the fresh air. Moreover, it can be played by people of different levels of fitness. You don't have to be an athlete to play golf. You simply need to pick up the club and start playing, start hitting the ball. It doesn't matter how many strokes you make at each hole. The winner is the one who makes the fewest strokes. Our federation has a very exciting program. We implement many programs. One of them is called Become a Golfer in 15 Hours. We guarantee that you will be able to learn how to play golf before you go to the course. We divide 15 hours into 5 lessons of 3 hours each. Excellent coaches teach people how to play. Moreover, during the last lesson, you can receive your initial handicap.
The winners were selected in 4 qualification categories, depending on their handicap groups. Participants in the Mayor's Cup golf tournament received exclusive cups, medals, and award certificates from the Golf Federation in Moscow.
The Mayor's Golf Cup is a significant event, and participation brings athletes a special status. The Moscow Sports Committee is always very particular about this event. The financial support and assistance it provides to the tournament shows that this event is important not only for the promotion of golf, but for the entire sports industry in Moscow. We need events such as this one.
We asked the winners about the secrets of their success and how long you need to play golf to achieve such results.
I like the atmosphere of this tournament. It's friendly, everything is clean, on time, and the weather is great. Well, and everything was really flying today. I dreamed of playing this game since I was a child, only back then I didn't have a chance. First, I lived in Ulyanovsk, and there were no appropriate facilities there. Then, I lived in St. Petersburg, and there were no courses like what we have now. Later, I moved to Moscow, and I happened to find my dream here. I won the Mayor's Cup, first place. Thank you.
Congratulations, that's great. Have you been playing golf for a long time?
No, I've been playing it for just 2 seasons. It's my second season. Before that, I was training. There are many reasons. It's a beautiful, open-air sport with a nice atmosphere, nice people, an exciting game that simply carries you away.
Our golf coach Vera Markevich also won a cup.
To be honest, I'm a bit surprised to be the winner, because the Stableford format is very hard to play if your handicap is so low. Because my handicap is pretty low, I was surprised to win this great cup.
An excellent result. Congratulations, and thank you for my masterclass. I'm already looking forward to my next golf lesson.
Thanks a lot. Golf is truly an excellent sport.
Each year, well-established international institutions compile a ranking of the most sporting countries around the world. This year, Russia is among the countries which are at the top of the list. The 2018 FIFA World Cup played a serious role in promoting sport in Moscow.
Certainly, the FIFA World Cup was a spectacular event. It left a nice aftertaste. But probably the success of any large city is not merely in how it wants to be seen through the eyes of millions of visiting tourists, but instead in whether it's a comfortable place for its citizens themselves. Over the past several years, you've probably seen that Moscow has significantly changed. Moscow has become a comfortable place for living, for spending time with your family, and certainly for doing sports. There are facilities that were created for the FIFA World Cup. First and foremost, these include the refurbished Luzhniki Stadium, the big sports arena, and Spartak Stadium, which was completed shortly before the championship. Training courses were put in place for the teams that participated in the World Cup and played in Moscow. But in addition to the professional sports infrastructure, Moscow's authorities have worked hard to develop the infrastructure for sports on a broad scale. These are sports and recreation centers, swimming pools, ice skating rinks, workout equipment in urban courtyards, football fields, and other facilities. It's true that today, sports are becoming available to everyone. Today, there are over 4.5 million people in Moscow who take part in sports on their own. Moscow is a venue of many large international contests, pan-Russian competitions. On our calendar, there are now more than 15,000 events. Of them, over 300 are large-scale events with major spectator interest. At our events, we always see many foreign guests, and of course, this brings us a lot of pleasure. The FIFA World Cup is far from being the only sports event held in Moscow. Each year, our sports calendar is packed full. At present, Moscow is the region's leader in terms of the number of sports facilities.
The infrastructure inherited by the city after the FIFA World Cup includes not only stadiums and football fields. The impact of the World Cup on the Russian capital's tourist image. That was the topic of a roundtable discussion organized via the support of the Department of External Economic and International Affairs of Moscow and Capital Ideas magazine.
The FIFA World Cup was a key contributor to the recognition level of the city. A huge percentage of work was done by many, including the Regional Safety Department of the government of Moscow, along with the federal authorities. Our colleagues from abroad helped us too. The World Cup is not simply an event taken out of context. I think Moscow did manage to achieve this goal thanks to the continuity of events and festivals. And the World Cup was smartly and naturally integrated in these events and festivals. That included 240 days of ongoing, large-scale events. And this has resulted in a huge economic effect.
In 2018, Moscow's revenue from tourism came to 120 billion rubles. During and after the FIFA World Cup, the city's hotels were over 90% full. This is the reason why the government decided to continue developing the infrastructure of the city and the hotel business. The capital's hoteliers can count on the government's support in the form of property tax benefits.
The benefits have been in place for 5 years now, and for many hotels, they are a considerable kind of support, because they account for almost 7% of the hotel's annual revenue. And municipal authorities view the development of the tourist business together with the hotel industry. Today, there are more than 1,700 hotels across Moscow. These are certified facilities for collective accommodation. The accommodation rate is rising closer to the peak value and stands at almost 80% across the city. It's interesting because Moscow has been beyond the seasonality principle for a long time now. Guests keep coming here any time of the year.
During the FIFA World Cup, Moscow was visited by 3 million tourists, of which almost 2 million were foreign guests.
The changes in the city are truly fantastic. People who live here see these changes almost every day, and all of them are for the better. This is not simply the opinion of our magazine and the Moscow government. This is the point of view of leading specialists, too.
I think the picture of Russia has changed completely for most of the foreigners which were coming here for the football. A lot of them were at the beginning very afraid to come to Russia. They've been here, they experienced just fantastic time. And so I think the picture has completely changed for them.
Each and every one, including the people whom you see on the pages of our magazine, believe that the FIFA World Cup dealt a hard blow to the old stereotypes about Moscow. And these are many, negative stereotypes. The Cup has played a major role in that.
Muscovites also helped with smashing the myths about Russia. For instance, Alexander Gazov, head of the PR campaign, together with his colleagues, developed a series of unique guidebooks for foreign guests.
What are these guidebooks? The first part is dedicated to myth-busting. We developed them in the expectation-reality format. For example, the expectation: gloomy, sad, grumpy people looking like bears. The reality: sunny, modern, happy Muscovites who are well ahead of the citizens of any European capital in terms of their outgoing characters. Myths about technology, about the weather.
The authors of the projects didn't stop at Moscow. They went further. Altogether, more than 600,000 guidebooks on 11 Russian cities were published. They were translated into the languages of the World Cup's participating countries. While still working on the guidebooks, its authors came up with another project, Dialogue Me.
Any Russian who speaks a foreign language can take our free paraphernalia, which we made and distributed on a free-of-charge basis, thanks to our partners, companies, and people who have supported us and put them on. It's a way of sending a message to a foreign guest, saying that he or she speaks a foreign language and is open to be asked a question.
You could also receive support by dialing a short phone number. A few years ago, the EU Legal Service launched a hotline for fans called Fans Hotline 24. More than 100 professional lawyers work in this call center 24/7.
We were giving out advice in dozens of languages during the FIFA World Cup. Our partner, English First, supported us by providing additional interpreters who helped us consult the guests visiting our country during the World Cup. Today, the project continues to live on. We advise sports fans. Under the auspices of the Russian Union, we offer help in 2 languages, Russian and English. We book tickets, hotels, taxis, and pay for goods. We get information and watch broadcasts. In order to reach sports fans quickly and give them the information they need, we've developed an app and created a portal, as well as social media. Now it takes them just 2 or 3 clicks to reach our hotline. The FIFA World Cup has certainly brought a new impetus to the promotion of sport, including football. It has attracted many new boys to our clubs and sports schools. Football is the most popular sport today. More than 15,000 Moscow boys at various levels of skill are playing football now. We have 20 sports schools. The most vivid example of our sports achievements is the Chertonova team, which plays at the Football National League, FNL, the second biggest in Russia, and which is steadily moving forward and currently holding fourth place. The Russian Trainer Excellence School, which prepares trainers for all types of sport, there are 78 trainer schools in Moscow, is strong enough to ensure that athletes achieve solid results. Of course, the inflow of international coaches in top clubs is a clear indication that Russia is becoming an attractive place to foreign trainers.
Okay, if you don't want to be disqualified, stand behind your cones.
Martin Holdsworth is from England. He came to Moscow 6 years ago as a football coach.
I was invited here by a friend of mine who is the director of British Football School, and he invited me here to coach. And I fell in love with the city. It's a beautiful city, and of course the work. It's great work. It's very interesting what we do here, meeting so many children from different countries who all love football, who share a love of football.
On the field, Martin uses his methodology, which he's brought over with him from the UK. He says that the philosophy of English football is to make the game easy. After all, you need to enjoy football.
I have children in this group who have little experience in football but like to be with their friends and they like to socialise after school. And we have other children here that are very strong and they play with us in some leagues across Moscow.
While teaching football, Martin also helps Russian kids learn English. For example, over the course of just 1 year, Maxim easily learned not only how to understand his coach, but also to speak the language as well.
After talking with kids from other countries and with coaches, he has become an entirely different person, a citizen of the world. He speaks openly. He even argues with the coaches. He understands everything, and most importantly, he can communicate freely.
In turn, Martin already speaks pretty good Russian. During his free time, he becomes familiar with the sporting side of Moscow. In Russia, he's discovered a new type of sport for himself, snowboarding. In the meantime, we're heading back to Luzhniki. Many marathon runners participating in the 10-kilometer race have already reached the finishing line. So here we are at the finish, and the atmosphere is electric and energized. Today, more than 30,000 people have turned out to participate in the marathon, as well as many supporters and fans. You can watch the athletes running in real time. The organizers of this sports event broadcast the run live. By the way, statistics show that almost 80% of the runners participated in this marathon for the very first time.
My first marathon was great. Had all kinds of different emotions. The beginning was quite easy. The weather was great, no rain, no wind, very flat. But as everyone says, the marathon gets interesting after about 20 miles. So the last part was tough.
A state of euphoria is in the air. I've been taking part in this marathon for several years. It's not simply a race. It's a celebration, a feast for the soul. We have many friends here, people who know each other, like-minded people. I deeply respect this event because it's good for our health. It's an opportunity for all of us to get together in one place. It's fantastic. A great event with excellent emotions. I believe it's one of the biggest marathons in the world. It's a real festival.
The winners of the Moscow International Marathon are Iskander Idgarov from Moscow and Marina Kovalyov from Omsk.
They start very fast, so I especially didn't take this pace. I didn't support this pace because it was killing pace.
A total of 26,000 marathon runners managed to cross the finish line.
Sport today is an active lifestyle. All around the world, people love to play sport. Moscow, as you can see, is no exception. So get out there and play sport. It's great for you. I'm Mike Gibson. See you next time.